Ole Miss football's Jared Ivey welcomes you to the Ivey League, powered by RiverLand Roofing. Get your daily Rebel sports fix at the Ole Miss Spirit, omspirit.com.
Welcome into the Ivey League on the Talk of Champions podcast network. I'm Ben Garrett at Spirit, been on Twitter. I write and cover your Ole Miss football Rebels for the Ole Miss Spirit, omspirit.com, the affiliate of On 3. We're here at RiverLand Roofing in Oxford, Mississippi. RiverLandRoofing.com for all of your roofing needs. 662-644-4297 is the number to call for all of your roofing needs. Jared Ivey, my friend, feel better coming off of a win than a loss, I'm sure. How you doing?
It is refreshing to come off a win. I am still so surprised that you know the RiverLand Roofing phone number by heart.
Actually, the last time we sat down like this, again, I'm in swim trunks and a pullover because I didn't prepare. I'm not used to being on camera with you. I'm used to.
What would you put on if you had planned for it?
A college shirt.
Why?
Because I have terrible swag. Like, I can't put together.
We're wearing the same thing.
Yeah, but like when you're a third-year star Ole Miss defender, the highest graded pro football focused defender for Ole Miss through 6 games, you're 5-1, 1-1. Buddy, I'm just sorry. You can get away with stuff that I can't. I was going to Susical Jr. Remember, Gracie was in it last week. Okay. Remember this? I'll send you the link. I know you want to see it.
Okay.
So, and her friend Samaya was up there, and she said, Mr. Ben, stop flossing every time a song comes on.
Do you do that?
Well, I do it just because I know they go, yeah, Mr. Ben. No, Mr. Ben, stop.
Yeah, no, that's
yeah,
funny.
it's fun. I'm just being an idiot. Like, it took me 3 years to floss. I'm not trying to floss. Point is, if dumb Ginger Shrek gets up there and starts flossing, everybody's like, what is he doing? Jared does like, look at Jared. If you do it in a celebration, that's my guy. You know, so don't judge.
That's what I'm saying, but I'm not in that scenario. I'm not flossing for the reaction, or I'm not wearing the hoodie for the reaction. I'm wearing the hoodie because I want to wear the hoodie. You know, and you wear the hoodie because you want to wear the hoodie.
You know what? Thank you for that, man, because it's true. I wore this because I like this pullover. So, and I like swim trunks. They're comfortable. So we're going to do this together.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do.
Exactly. We're gonna have fun together. J.I.'s the man. You beat South Carolina. Well, y'all beat South Carolina, not you by yourself, 27-3. Kentucky was, let's start there, though, because I haven't talked to you since then. We didn't do an Ivy League after Kentucky. And let's just be honest. You avoided me. You're thinking, I can't talk to Ben. I'm in my feelings. That's what happened.
It wasn't that. We had to get back to work, and we had to lock back in, and we were a lot more intentional that week in our preparation, and we met a few extra times just as a unit. And I think it paid off.
When you say y'all were more intentional, what specifically were y'all more intentional about? What didn't work? Because defensively, it was a good effort. 20 points is 20 points, but offensively, that was where a lot of the gripes really were. But for y'all, y'all are a team, so you go into the next week being more intentional about what?
Well, of course, statistically, we played a great game, and a lot of guys made a lot of big plays and a lot of big moments, but 20 points is more than they start with at the beginning of a game, and for them to get to that, mistakes had to be made. So going in and looking and finding those mistakes and dialing in on our communication and all the small little details we can get better is kind of what the focus of the week was. Obviously, we can score 3 points and win a football game. We can get a safety and win a football game. So just kind of going in there and meeting as a team, just players, offense and defense, and then kind of splitting off and being able to focus on our part and what we can control and not worrying about and not thinking about, so that you don't feel those negative feelings and that, you don't build that, small ounce of resentment and or these negative feelings start to brew about stuff you can't control, because we trust those guys to do what they're supposed to do, and when they don't, they trust us to, have their back, just like we, are the same way. So, yeah, just having that kind of sentiment throughout the week.
It's really interesting to see the dichotomy with fans who go, oh, everything's over, and then y'all bounce back, y'all stabilize, you're back to number 9 this week, and you look at all the results in college football last weekend. I mean, it's wide open. So everything that we were talking about here on the Ivy League, Talk of Champions, wherever, you sat with Lane in his office in March. And the guy said, and you said, talk about winning a natty right there to your coach in front of God and everybody, right? So initially fans, they're emotional. They lose Kentucky. go crazy. They're like, everything is over, woe is me. But they aren't in the locker room, right? And they ask you these questions. They ask players these questions. But really, what is the emotion like? Is it like a fan? Do you feel it that viscerally? Or is it very processed? You know what I mean? Like, we got to get back to it. Look, it happened. That was bad. You know what I mean? How does that work? Because you can't go out there with them, like playing. You play with emotion, but you get what I'm saying.
Well, I think it's just like a piece of it is just like life and just being a man is like you can't dwell on something negative that's happened and let it bleed into everything else. If something bad happened at work and I come home and I'm treating my family bad and I'm treating my wife bad, I'm treating my kids bad, like that's awful, But the fans, when it comes to this, they can act like that because their emotions don't affect the outcome of anything ever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in it and your emotions do affect it, if me saying, "Oh, screw this, I don't feel like practicing hard today," if that can affect it, it will. You know what I mean? So nipping that in the bud over the weekend is probably the biggest thing, positive or negative, after a win or a loss, is the biggest thing about keeping the train rolling.
You made a really good point too, kind of subtly, but this team and its culture, and we talked about that a lot, but it's hard to see it put into practice. Well, it came really fast, right? I mean, y'all got punched in the mouth by a good defensive team, but y'all felt like y'all should have won the game. Y'all left stuff out there. That's not supposed to happen, and all those kind of things. While everyone else was going, oh gosh, another We Are Ole Miss moment, y'all just got back to work and got after South Carolina. Dominated that game defensively and offensively. There was better improvement too. Just like there wasn't this huge emotional swing after a bad night, I'm sure there wasn't this huge emotional swing once you got it back right. But can you tell a difference just how y'all are going day to day, knowing that, okay, it's a process. We didn't do this right. We know what we got to fix. It's not, oh God, we're not as good as we're
Yeah, well,
supposed to.
the vibe's always better on a Sunday when you come in after a win, and after a loss, it's down, not down, but serious, and maybe a little quieter and a little more buttoned up, and then after a win, it's a lot louder and jovial or whatever you want to call it. That's unavoidable. We won a big SEC game, and it's hard to win in this league. So, we celebrate as much as we are critical, and that's super important as well. But yeah, as soon as Monday hits, it's on to the next team. Sunday, we come in here, lift. They play our game on the TVs. And then Monday, the first 2-3 meetings are cleaning up the last game and watching, all the film from the previous game, and then we have a break, do a walk, and then come back, to more meetings, and it's all installed for the next week and scouting for, the new opponent. So it's really quick. Saturday, celebrate. Sunday, revitalize. Monday, it's on to the next, but it has to be. You got to have these contained 1 week seasons, because if you don't, you see the results. You lose games and you don't do what you set out to do, and I think that if the fans expected us to feel like they did and feel horrible all week and all month from this or that, I think that they would not enjoy coming to a lot more games. So, we will handle the transition from week to week and go out there and make it so you guys can have fun.
Staying in on business, man. They don't get emotional like media folks. And what you were
But
going
then
to say?
it's all right. It's natural.
Yeah, I feel like every time you talk about get too wildly emotional, chatty Cathy's, it's always kind of like Ben. I'm talking.
Nah.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks, man. What have you seen about LSU so far on film?
They got a good group. Top down, it's pretty much the same team with a change at quarterback and a couple changes at receiver. So nobody's underestimating the challenge. They have guys, and we have guys. So we just are excited to go out there and have another challenge. In a primetime game to go out there and show what the type of brand of football that we play.
I'm not a football expert. I freely admit that. I actually took one of your quotes from Monday at the press conference when you said, something to the effect of he can't run like Jaden Daniels. I'm talking about Garrett Nussmeier. He can't run like Jaden Daniels. No one can. By the way, Jaden is tearing it up. Did you think he was going to tear it up immediately in the league?
I did, yeah. I mean,
like, you played against him in that 55-49 game. It was
a guy. I mean, we played him the year before as well, when we were up at halftime and then ended up losing by 3 scores. So, and that was before. That was kind of the game that really propelled him and put him on the map going into the following year. So I knew he was a stud, and yeah, I haven't watched any games, but hopefully he's not taking as many hits as he was in college, and he's starting to slide. We need to get our guy to slide too, but they big time guys, high emotional guys that want to go make plays and want to go be difference makers. I mean, you can't take that away from him. So no, I'm not surprised at all that he's finding success early.
But there's some crazy stat. He's the first quarterback in however long or maybe ever to pass for a certain amount and rush for a certain amount. And he's, like I was saying, it almost interrupted you. Forgive me, but like he's so skinny, and you're a defensive lineman. Your job is to bring him down, and yet even in the NFL, the highest level, against a good Ole Miss defense, he's still evasive. Why is a dude that is he just quick? He's not fast.
Well, what do you?
He's just little. He doesn't look. How is he so hard to bring down?
You're
corralling.
I'm so surprised by what you're saying.
Why? What I do?
He well, first of all, what do you think being skinny has to do with?
I don't know, Sonny. I don't know. You're right. Sonny P went and put up 12 last week, and I've been saying he's too skinny to be an edge and every down edge, and he's dominating.
So there's that aspect, and then also
I told you I'm not an expert. I'm just asking.
The guy has elite speed, like legit.
He can straight up run.
Like he can, go in the open space. Like he can move.
I mean, it's like a comparison to like a Lamar or like other guys that
he has that level of speed.
Yeah.
So, but Lamar was skinny as hell like that too. Really until his 3rd, 4th year in the league, he put on probably since he's been in the league probably around 30 pounds. 30, 35 pounds, yeah.
No, I know. Heck yeah. So he's just got elite level speed. He's that dude. We know about the arm strength. But what about Garrett Nussmeier? I used your quote, and you kind of mentioned both of them. You're trying to help us out and say, all right, they're not the same. They're different. You said Garrett can move a little bit. Yeah, no, but he's a pocket passer.
He's a guy who's going to sit back there and make plays with his arm. He'll extend plays with his legs, and he'll move around, and he's got enough speed to go run for a first down, and that's all you need him to do. You know what I mean? And that's what they ask him to do. So. You definitely can't just let him out because he will run for he's an athletic guy. We're all athletic guys, There's nobody probably in the country that can't run for a first down. But obviously he's not Jaden as far as a runner. But yeah, no, kid's a good player. He wouldn't be starting at LSU if he wasn't. So, we're preparing for him just like we prepared for our guy last week, and just like we prepared for Jaden last year.
Bye week coming up too. I don't really put much stock into that, but there has been injury stuff. You were banged up. First of all, how you feeling? You good?
I'm good. Yeah.
You feel good?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, dude.
Good. Yeah.
Dude, popping locked it right there in the middle of the chair. It's amazing. What about the rest of the team? I mean, I don't want to ask for specifics because that's not your job. You're not supposed to talk about that.
No, that's not my job description.
That is not your job. But for you, when you're out there, do y'all look like y'all are physically? Is there anybody crazy worried, I guess?
I don't think so. No, I mean we're everybody's dealing with their own little situation. Everybody's got their thing, but we got a tough group of guys and a lot of guys that are playing elite through their thing. So yeah, I think we're as good as we need to be.
I talked to you in the spring about breakout guys, and you've nailed both of them. I need to give him some credit. He's a smart ass football guy. Yeah, of course he's good, but like
I also do practice with these guys every single day.
He does, but like he can
kind of have the insider eye.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is this man could go and scout for teams because like I said, all right, give me 2 dudes that are coming up, and you went, well, Jam Brown and Suntaran Perkins. Now, Suntaran, I brought up the being skinny stuff. I say that because, like, being undersized for that position at edge specifically, that can be a deterrent. And yet, he steps in for Prince on Saturday and balls out. How is he taking his game? Where have you seen in that growth where he's allowed himself to now be the player that a lot of people thought they were getting on day one? But it's hard. Everybody makes their own unique transition. So, where's he growing the most?
Well, I said this earlier in the presser, but to me, he hasn't really grown a lot anywhere because he already could do everything. You know what I mean? He already could play anywhere. He already was super strong. He already had the elite speed. So So I think that the biggest thing that has changed probably is his ability to understand the defense. It's his second year in the defense as it is for everybody else. So just cutting back on mental errors and small stuff like that is probably the biggest thing. But as far as what he can do and the plays he can make, I mean, he will never lose that. He's always had that. He was probably 14, 15 years old and could have done some of the things that he's doing right now, at the college level. So, yeah, he's an unbelievable piece, and he's showing no signs of slowing down.
And neither is this guy, Mr. Jared Ivey. Now, the last time I hosted one, so many of my friends said, hey, you got to ask Jared Ivey some Ole Miss trivia because y'all players these days don't know nothing.
I don't know.
Yeah, this is your place, man. This is where you're going to come back. This is where they're going to build a statue for you. I want to make sure. I got you, bro. I asked Keith Carter to name a toilet after me in the IPF, and he wouldn't do it.
He wouldn't do it.
Okay, will you do that? Like draw on construction paper, Ben Garrett toilet?
The Ben Garrett bathroom facility.
Well, we talked about buggies before we started recording, bathroom facilities being off the chain. I mean, is IPF okay? Are you everything all right? It ain't buggies.
Surprisingly, it's not great. It's not a great situation at the IPF. There's just not many, and they're very spread out. So I don't think it was built for, for people to go to the bathroom all the time. But in the locker room there are a lot of toilets, but the locker rooms are so far away from the meeting rooms. When you're in the meeting rooms, like you might have to go on a little mission. You'll get
little side mission. All I was saying, Keith, you can name my toilet and build these guys like you got luxury, everything else. Anyway, here's your Ole Miss trivia question. Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Last time Ole Miss won in Baton Rouge, 2008.
Yes. I thought that was going to be the question.
That's easy.
Because I knew that question.
That's easy.
Because they just asked me that
Who's
today.
the quarterback?
Who was the quarterback of Ole Miss?
For Ole Miss that day.
In
God
08?
rest his soul.
God rest his soul?
Yeah. I wanted to give him some love this week because that's one of my most memorable games.
In 08?
War number 4. Like son Taryn Perkins now. You want to venture a guess?
I only know so many quarterbacks.
Do you know any of the players on that 08 team?
On the 08 team?
Can I name some for you? You know them. Mike
Patrick
Wallace.
Mike Wallace.
Mike Wallace.
Wallace.
Marshae Green. You probably don't remember Marshae. That's a little deep cut.
Oh, the only quarterbacks I know are Bo, Eli,
Bo, what's up?
Chad, Archie and Eli, or Archie and Jackson. And
That's
Matt,
pretty good.
And Matt. Besides that,
Jevin Sneed.
Jevin Sneed.
Came over from Texas, right? That was one of the first things. That's back when transfers weren't really a thing. You came over from Georgia Tech. It was like this big off-season thing. Jevin Sneed, God rest his soul. He started quarterback for Ole Miss that day, 31-13. Let's hope that my guy J.I. and these Ole Miss Rebels this weekend can do something too. For all your roofing needs, it's RiverLand Roofing, riverlandroofing.com or 662-644-4297. I write for the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, affiliate of On 3. Jared's there sometimes too. Thanks for watching. This has been the Ivy League. He'll be back hopefully with a teammate next week because I never dressed for the part, apparently. Thank you, my friend.
Try my best.